The only thing better than fresh picked blackberries, still warm from the summer sun, is Blackberry Cobblers, still warm from the oven, served with a scoop of vanilla ice cream on top. Oh my goodness, my mouth is watering just thinking about it. So in this video, I'm going to take blackberries that I picked up from the local market to make Martha Stewart's classic Blackberry Cobbler. If you're new to my channel, I'm Denise Jordan, and I teach women to make wise home health and beauty decisions. So if you want to learn more about running a household, subscribe. Blackberries are one of summer's sweets that can easily be turned into one of summer's treats. A little dough, a little sugar, a little time in the oven, and a blackberry cobbler is the perfect rendition. Let me show you how easy it is to make. We're going to make the biscuit dough first. So I've already preheated the oven to 375 degrees, and now I'm going to add my ingredients to this bowl for the biscuit dough. So we're going to start with a cup and a half of flour, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, and a half a teaspoon of coarse salt. Then we're going to whisk that together until it's thoroughly mixed. Now we'll cut up 1 stick of cold unsalted butter into small chunks. Now we're going to put the butter into our flour mixture. Now we're going to cut the butter into the flour mixture. And I'm actually going to use a pastry cutter to do this, but just in case you don't have a pastry cutter, I wanted you to know how you can cut it in if all you have is 2 knives. Something else that will work is you could put it in a food processor and pulse it until it gets to the consistency of coarse meal. But if you don't have a food processor and you don't have a pastry cutter, this will work. But since I've got my grandmother's pastry cutter, I'll just use that. I think this looks pretty good. You can see how coarse that looks. And this is what a pastry cutter looks like, in case you're wondering. Now we're going to add 3/4 cup of heavy cream, and we'll just kind of mix that all together. And it's just going to be kind of a soft, moist dough. Just till you get all the pieces moist. I'll sprinkle a little wax paper with some flour so it doesn't stick too badly. And then we're going to turn the dough out onto that. I'm going to pat it into a ball. And then we're going to roll it out. I'll flour my rolling pin just a little. We're going to roll it into a square. Not real thin, but just a nice little square. Then you're going to cut it into 8 equal parts. My square is more of an oval. I cut it into smaller squares. Now Martha says cut it into 8 equal parts. Mine aren't so equal, So now that we've got our biscuit dough ready, we'll set it aside and we'll work on the raspberries. So I'll get these blackberries rinsed off and then we'll get them in a bowl. Okay, so now in this large bowl, we're going to add 1/2 cup of sugar, 1/4 teaspoon of ground cinnamon, and 3 tablespoons of cornstarch. Now we're going to whisk that together. And then we'll toss in our berries. Now here's the thing, make sure you taste the berries before you put them in, because if the berries are sour, you're going to want to add a little bit more sugar. And if the berries are super juicy, then you might need to add another teaspoon of cornstarch, because as you know, the sugar helps with the sweet and the cornstarch helps it to thicken. Now let's add our berries. And we're just going to toss the berries in this mixture. And we're going to do it very gently because we don't want to break them up. We're just going to toss them and get them all coated. Get that all stirred up, and you can see the juices are already starting to come out of the fruit. Just look at that. It's going to be delicious. I cannot wait to get it out of the oven and have some ice cream on top. Good. Okay, let me get the dish up. Now we're going to pour it into our dish. And you want a dish about 8-inch square. Just let that go there. And now we'll just put our cobbler pieces on top. Just put them close together, but not necessarily touching, because you want the juices to bubble up. Now we're going to brush the top of the dough with some heavy cream. Just going to brush it. And then we'll sprinkle that with some turbinado sugar. Martha calls it sand sugar, and actually sand sugar is like a large crystal-like sugar that's purely decorative. It's not real sweet, but they're like sugar crystals, so they don't melt in the oven. They stand up to the heat, and so you have this pretty crystal-like effect on the top. Well, what I've got is the sugar in the raw, the turbinado sugar. And as you can see, it's large crystals, and I'll just sprinkle that across the top, because that's what I've got on hand. It'll give it a nice crystal looking effect. It'll be so pretty. And then we'll pop this in the oven on 375. And notice at the bottom of my oven, I've got some aluminum foil so that if the cobbler bubbles over, it'll hit the foil and not the bottom of my oven. You really don't want that mess at the bottom of your oven. I've had that mishap. And if you want to get a good laugh at my expense, I will link the video where I had to clean out my new oven below, and also put an iCard above. So like I said, you'll get a good laugh at my expense. So anyway, we'll leave this in the oven for anywhere from 50 to 75 minutes. And you want to make sure you keep an eye on it, because the biscuit dough on top, it's possible for it to brown too quickly. And if it browns too quickly, then you want to cover it with aluminum foil. And when I say cover it, make a tint over it with aluminum foil. Don't put it like down on top, but make a tint over it with aluminum foil to kind of shield it from the heat. And then we'll take it out and be ready to, well, we'll have to let it sit for 30 minutes, and then we'll be ready to dish it up. It's looking pretty good, but it's getting pretty brown, not bubbling in the center yet, so I think I better put some aluminum foil over the top. husband decided to cut grass. Well, it's out of the oven. Now I've got to let it sit for about 30 to 40 minutes before I can dish it up. Doesn't that look delicious? I cannot wait to taste it. Well, let's serve this up and give it a taste. I just can't wait to dig into it. I can smell the biscuit dough. It smells amazing. So it's cooled off enough to serve, but it's still just a little bit warm. Now let's put some ice cream on top. This is looking awfully good. Let's get a taste. Delicious. Definitely one of the treats of summer. I love it. So tell me this, what's your favorite summer sweet that you like to turn into a summer treat for your family? Put it in the comment section below. And before I go any further, let me thank Cindy at Creative Living with Cindy, Elle at Easy Living with Elle, and Sonia at Multifacetted Me with MSB, or with SFB, for hosting this challenge. I had so much fun creating this dessert. I'm going to enjoy it, and my family is going to enjoy it. If you're not familiar with these three fabulous ladies, I will link their channels below so that you can get to know them. And what they asked us to do for this challenge was pretty simple. They just wanted us to create a summer sweets, something that we enjoy to put on our table for our family for the summer. And as you can see, my summer sweet was Blackberry Cobbler, Martha Stewart's classic Blackberry Cobbler. And just so you can see what some of the other creators have done for their summer sweet, I'll also link the playlist below so you can check that out too. And if you like this video, you might like my mac and cheese, my maple butternut squash, or my meatloaf recipes. I will put an iCard above and then link them below so you can check them out if you're so inclined. And just so you know, I've raised 3 children. I've managed a home for more than 45 years, and I am a nurse by profession. So if you want to learn more about running a household, subscribe. I would love to have you as a member of the TNT community. In the meantime, this is Denise Jordan saying goodbye. I'm going to enjoy me some Blackberry Cobbler.
Delicious.
It's good. It's really good.